the three most essential steps in launching a business so that you don't burn through your savings, because not having enough money is the number one fear raised by at least new women entrepreneurs who are on the fence about launching their business. And not having enough money may be a very real fear for you in this pandemic when everything has slowed down. So I'm sharing with you the three essential steps that literally eliminate fear from the discussion, because you'll have proof that your big idea is a good one. So you are in the right place at the perfect time. If you have a big idea that tugs at your heart and won't let you alone, or sometimes you feel overwhelmed. So for those of you who haven't launched a business, just the very thought of launching a business might feel overwhelming to you because you don't know the steps forward. So there's many new entrepreneurs who are very successful in the businesses that they're in. And once they make the leap to entrepreneurship, this is a whole different ball game. And where you felt confident in the past, this can shake your confidence. And you might be asking yourself, can I even do this? What happens if I fail? You know, I hear people say, you know, I want to end up living in a box under a bridge. And that's a very real fear. And you might not even feel confident about talking about your business idea. So if you're still employed and you're just thinking about this, you may be feeling some insecurity about even sharing it with other people. And you wonder, you know, is this a good idea? Will people want to buy what I'm selling? And this may even feel hard to you. So if that's you, don't worry, you're in the right place at the perfect time. So before we get started, thank you, Susanna, for introducing me. It might be helpful for you to know a little bit more about my history, especially since most of us are meeting here for the first time. So I've spent nearly 27 years in product development, product management, and marketing. 20 of those years were at Gartner, the technology market research and consulting firm. And I was recognized there for having a unique skill. And that was defining products and services that filled a gap in the market and that were easy for salespeople to sell. And at one point, excuse me, I launched a new service offering and decided that I was tired of giving the concepts that I had tested and honed and priced and packaged off to the product managers to grow and sell and get all the glory. And I wanted to own one of these myself. And so I grew and launched a new program from nothing, from zero, to $32 million in 30 months. And then I needed a do-over because I was burnt out. There's a lot of things going on in my personal life. I hit burnout, my marriage was ending, and my mother's health was failing. I felt like I was in that sandwich generation. There was so much pulling at my heart. My son was in middle school. And truthfully, I didn't know what to do next. I took a lateral move and then decided that there was nothing interesting for me out there, inside or outside the company. And I decided to leave the corporate world, launch my own business as a coach for women in midlife who are having a do-over, and became really what I call an accidental entrepreneur, because it was never in my life plan to be a business owner. I was too comfortable with that regular paycheck, and I knew that I just couldn't keep doing what I was doing, and I started to reinvent myself. And so that process became the great do-over, and it's something that I taught others. I got my coaching certification, I was running retreats, and after finding so many other women entrepreneurs around me failing to get traction with their businesses, I decided to combine my two careers in product development and product marketing and coaching, and created the Launch Lab for Women Entrepreneurs, which is a 12-week accelerator that takes you from concept to a money-making business model in 12 weeks. So, and if you haven't met me yet, I will just tell you, I am not a slick marketing guru. I am really a truth teller. My commitment to you is to give you practical and actionable advice that you can actually use. So if you don't have a notebook or pen handy, or you're not taking notes on your computer, you might want to do that. So this will be highly interactive, and to get the most out of this session, I highly recommend you participate fully in chat, and we'll be able to open it up for Q&A later since we're all in the room. And this is zero hype. This is a zero hype game. Um, this is a zero hype presentation. There's nothing in here that I'm going to teach you that is just a slick marketing gimmick. These are all things that I apply in my professional life and that I know work, and they work for my clients. And for those of you who are ready, I will be able to offer you a powerful next step for you to apply what we've talked about today to your own business idea. So who's interested in that? Type me in chat if this sounds like a great use of your time today. And I know Susanna will be monitoring the chat roll, and we will be taking questions there. So if there are questions that come up during this session, feel free to just post them in chat, and we will pause periodically to address them. So here's why I created this training. There are 1,821 new businesses launched by women every day. That's a new statistics from American Express from 2019. And just a little bit of clarity, because I know there are some men on the line. I also work with men who tend to be partners with women in their businesses. So it's not that this is advice just for women entrepreneurs only. It equally applies to the men in the room. 75% of businesses fail, and the CEOs will end up bootstrapping themselves back into a job. And can you guess the number one reason for business failure? So type in chat, what do you believe the number one reason for failure for new businesses is, for new startups? And this is where, you know, we kind of want the Jeopardy do, 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 do. Not enough cash, right? Lack of self-confidence, lack of knowledge or funding. So cash is really important. Cash is king, right? Cash flow is so very important to the success of a business. It is actually the third reason why new businesses fail. Lack of self-confidence. Yes, the self-confidence of the founder is really important. The number one reason all businesses fail is there's no market need. And no market need, you know, so how could this be? Why would anyone invest the sweat equity that it takes, the hit to your confidence, the investment and the risk of launching a business if there was no market need? So this is why I created this training, because the most important thing for you to do to establish a strong business foundation and build a business that can grow is establishing the market need. So it's not about your website. Many new entrepreneurs want to build up a website, right? So you want to hang out your shingle, and that's important. And then you want to get a logo, and many engage with a branding consultant, and all of that is really important. But the truth is, it's not about your website. It's not about your copy. It's not about your marketing. It's about finding the gap. What is the gap in the market that everyone else is missing? So these are the three things we're going to discuss today. Corporate leaders who want to make the leap to entrepreneurship end up focusing on the right thing at the wrong time. So it's important that you have your legal entity set up. It's important that, yes, you have a website, that you brand, that you register your trademarks, but it's not the most important thing when you're first starting out. There are three things every new entrepreneur needs to master before they take the leap. And these are discovering the gap, so that you can stand out in a very crowded market of coaches, consultants, trainers, speakers. Entrepreneurship is the new feminist movement. There are more women leaving the corporate workforce at the peak of their earning potential than ever before in history. And the only way to succeed, whether you're a man or a woman, is discovering the gap in the marketplace that everyone else is missing, that you can fill so you can stand out in a crowded market. The second most important thing is to find proof. Find proof that people are willing to pay for your services. And this was something that I mastered at Gartner. I was able to find people that would help me define the product offering. So I discovered the gap. I would find proof that people were willing to pay, and I knew exactly how much they were willing to pay. And then I crafted a solution that was easy to sell, because without these three things, you really don't have a business, you just have an idea. And if we have time, Susanna, I'm not quite sure we'll have time given the late start, but I can talk about some expert secrets and how to package and price your services at the end if you're interested.
Sounds great.
So let's talk about finding the gap. So finding the gap, it's all about finding the need that people have that isn't being satisfied by anyone else in the market, at least not being satisfied in the way they want it satisfied. The gap is the problem that needs solving. And right now, after COVID-19, there are new problems that need solving. So what you were doing before might not be working, but there may be a brand new gap that has emerged that you have the skills to solve, and you can deliver what your market needs right now. So new problems create the opportunities for new solutions. And this is important because if your idea doesn't fill a gap in the market, it will be super hard for you to make money, and then you will constantly struggle on your marketing. And this is especially true in crowded markets like consulting, coaching, training, and other services professionals. So before you take the leap, you absolutely must validate that you can make money at your big idea. Before you take the leap, find the gap. So here's a question to get you started. How do you stand out in a crowded market? And these are questions worth writing down and brainstorming with yourself or your business partners later. How do we stand out in a crowded market? You need to stand out in a crowded market so that you can be seen as different from competing solutions. You can charge premium prices, and you have a clearly defined value proposition. So I want to give you an example of this. So this is Sharon, and she was my client a couple of years ago. And in the launch lab, we spend a good deal of time getting the problem right before creating a solution around it. So Sharon contacted me. We had coached before. I had done some leadership coaching with her during her career. And she said, Deb, I've just left my company. She was a tax accountant at one of the big consulting firms. And I said, that's great, Sharon. What are you going to do? She says, I'm going to be a tax accountant, tax advisor for small businesses. And I don't know how many of you are from New York City or in New York City. If you've ever seen this truck, it sits right outside of Bryant Park across from the library. And it says free tax advice, CPAs for all. And I said, Sharon, I think you need a differentiated strategy, because how are you going to stand out from every other CPA out there who's offering small businesses tax advice? So, and this is the opposite of what most new coaches, consultants, and trainers and speakers do. You know, most people start focusing on the solution and not the problem. So if you are coming to this and say, oh, I've got a great solution, and you're not tapping into what is the problem in the market today that really needs solving that no one is paying attention to. So, Sharon went away, and she discovered that she wanted to blend her interest in cryptocurrency with taxation for cryptocurrency. And remember, this was a couple of years ago when cryptocurrency trading was still fairly new, when the IRS was still putting their heads around how do we even report cryptocurrency gains on taxes. She quickly took her expertise in both tax and cryptocurrency, packaged it into a program that she launched for tax professionals. I think in her first launch, she had about 15 people, and I think she earned like $30,000 in that first month of her launch doing this training. So now Sharon is an industry-wide recognized expert. She has a column for Bloomberg Tax, a regular column. She has taken on a co-founder, and they are creating a certification program for tax professionals. She is also a personal advisor for high net worth individuals who are frequent traders in cryptocurrency. So that's a great example of what it looks like to find a gap in the market, that a problem that no one is solving. So what is the gap in the market that you solve? And to be effective, your gap needs to be narrow. So frequently, new people, new entrepreneurs, or new business owners who are just coming into the market, I'll say, hey, who's your ideal client? And they'll say, anyone who. And that's my trigger. That's my red flag. Anyone. So if you're selling to anyone, you're selling to no one. Your gap needs to be narrow. The narrower you cast, the better. People need to be able to identify that they have the problem that you solve, and that it's really a problem for them. So if it's just a problem for you and it's not a problem for them, then that's not a gap that's going to work for you. And the problem needs to be solvable, that you can actually provide a solution that works, that people are willing to pay for. And you need to be able to create a differentiated position from everyone else in the market out there. So that's number one. Number two is because without a gap, you don't have a business, right? So now we're going to move on to finding proof. So the essential step, number two, in launching a business that gains traction and replaces your corporate paycheck is to find proof that people will pay for your solution. So finding that proof that people will invest in their success through you is an essential step in launching your big idea. So people who are willing to invest will naturally be attracted to your offers. They'll be easy to work with, and you will get the results. They will get the results that you promise, and you will get the results that you're looking for in earning your income. So here's a question to get you started. How do I know that people will pay for what I want to offer? And it's essential to have proof that people will pay to work with you. Otherwise, you're always chasing the next client, and you're struggling with your marketing and your sales and not knowing what's working. And then you blame yourself. So this is, what we do. We think there's something wrong with us. You'll question that you don't have what it takes, and you may even burn through your cushion, burn through your savings, and end up bootstrapping yourself back into a job. And I don't want that. So write this down. What proof do I have that people will buy my products and services? And if this is raising questions for you, feel free to type them in chat, because we will come back and address them. So how do I know that people will pay? So here's another story from another client. So Kate Camerata is an amazing producer, director, dramaturg, writer, coach for people who are wanting to get their plays and musicals produced on and off Broadway. And when I met Kate, she was an adjunct professor at SUNY Stony Brook, and she was spending all of her time earning a measly adjunct professor salary, and all of her time commuting back and forth to Stony Brook, grading papers, teaching her classes, that there was actually no time to practice her craft. And I said, Kate, I've seen the work you do. I know the impact that you have on your clients and the actors and actresses and playwrights that you work with. This is like, life is too short not to fulfill your dreams. So we created a program for her. It was called Create Theater, where she introduced new playwrights to producers and directors. And she had these regular gatherings. Well, she became known as the go-to dramaturg for new playwrights. She was the go-to for new producers and the director for new plays on Broadway. And she became so successful that her number one competitor reached out to her and said, hey, Kate, why don't you come over and work for me? And it gave her great pleasure to say, no thanks, Joe, I'm doing fine on my own. So it enables you to fulfill your dream when you can stand out in a crowded market of others by offering something that's unique. So what proof do you have that people will buy your solution? So write down what proof you have that people will pay for your products and services. And if you don't have that proof yet, that's all right. We're going to talk about how you get it. All right, so to find proof, you need to find where people are getting their solutions today. If this is a real problem in the marketplace, then people are searching for solutions right now. They may even be investing money in things that aren't working, that aren't getting them where they want to be. And once you find that, you need to decide, is this a big enough problem for me to solve? Is this market big enough? Could I actually earn enough money doing this that would make sense for me to walk away from my paycheck? And it's a simple equation. What we want to do is take that number and we want to divide it by the average value of a client to you and see how many clients you'd have to get and see if that's a realistic goal. So you can just do that simple formula on your worksheet. So you want to prove that the people you target would invest in their solution. There might be a lot of people with needs out there right now, but not a lot of people who are willing to invest, because without having proof, you don't have a business. So essential step number 3 is creating a value proposition. And we just talked about this in the Life After Corporate podcast. So that's another way of getting some of this advice in audio form, is subscribe to Life After Corporate. But essential step number 3 is to create your value-based offers. So it's essential that you understand the value of your offer, or you'll continually struggle with how much you should charge for your services. And this is a real thing. How to price and package my services is the #1 challenge that I get with my clients and the people that I speak with, because it's putting a dollar on your self-worth. And for some, that's a very difficult thing to do. This messes with your mindset. So frequently you don't feel confident in these sales conversations. And when you don't feel confident, it makes it difficult for clients to say yes to you, and you'll be more likely to burn through your savings. So here's a question. What do you offer and how much will you charge? What I've learned in my years of product development is that even if you're selling a service, it's a product, and a product needs packaging. So what are you offering and what are you charging for those products? And here's a tip to get you started. So in order to create a product out of your service, even if you're a coach, a trainer, any sort of services professional, you have a process that you're using, whether it's conscious or not, that brings clients from their pain point, where they are struggling today, to their desired state of where they want to go. So I don't care if you're a technologist or a coach or any other services professional, there's a journey of change. There's a framework, methodology, a system, process that you're using to bring your clients from this state of pain to where they want to go, because people won't buy unless there's a problem that's causing them pain. Whether you're selling to businesses or you're selling to individuals, it doesn't matter. So let me tell you a little bit about my success path. So here I am, I'm on stage. This was about 7 or 8 years ago. Soon after I had left the corporate world, and I had enrolled in a year-long mentorship and mastermind program that took my corporate skills and helped me understand how to market them in this digital age, how to speak from the stage, make an offer, start a group program. And I'm on the success panel because I was having success. I was one of the only ones in the room making a consistent 5-figure income every month. And most of the other entrepreneurs in the room were not. And the reason why they weren't is because they didn't have a business model. So they were learning all these skills on how to create impactful sales presentations, how to create group programs, how to have sexy elevator pitches. But the bottom line is they really didn't have a business model. They weren't solving a problem that people wanted to pay for. And so the coaching industry has exploded. The rate of women leaving the workforce has exploded over the last 5 years. So it's now important, more important than ever, that you carve out a unique niche. I knew how to find the gap. I knew how to find that value proposition, and that made all the difference with my business. So how do you go from burnt out leader to successful entrepreneur? What is the path that you would follow from being slightly, okay, maybe very nervous about how you would bridge the gap and replace your income and earn money being an entrepreneur without burning through your savings? So let me show you how I solved that problem. And this is an example of my methodology in the Launch Lab. So when I work with new entrepreneurs, we first, discover the gap. What is the gap in the market that people are struggling with that you have the skills and the passion to solve? Because if you're not passionate about it, you won't enjoy it and you won't make as much of an impact through your work. Then we find proof. We find proof that that is a real need. We understand where is there evidence that people are investing in getting this problem solved in the marketplace. And then we start creating your offer. What is it that you're offering that's unique from everyone else out there? How do you package it? How do you price it? And then we go into how you message it, because your messages are super important in helping you stand out from everyone else who's delivering the same or similar service out there. And then we validate. In 12 weeks, we go through all of these 5 steps so that you can validate that, yes, I can replace my corporate paycheck by doing something that has more meaning to me, gives me more freedom, more flexibility, and makes an impact through my work. So that's what a methodology or a process looks like. So, question to get you started, what is your unique offer? The Launch Lab is a concrete example of a problem that I noticed in the market, that there were a lot of people who are making the leap but weren't successful in closing clients. And I know some people that I've talked to recently have been in this for a couple of years and still are struggling to chase clients to close and work with them. So what is your unique offer? It's a great, when you work on that gap that you fill and you find the proof that people are willing to pay you, and you carve out that unique value proposition and you reverse engineer your money goal, it's so empowering to see yourself earning money, doing something on your own, living a lifestyle that makes a difference to you. So here's what we've covered. It's a crowded market. You need to find the gap. To make money, you need to find proof, and you need a unique offer that differentiates your value, because without these 3 things, you don't have a business. So I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far, and what questions do you have? So, Suzanne, you want to pause for questions? Susanna, you're muted.
Hi, all. I unmuted you, so if people would like to ask Deb a question, they can, or feel free to put something in the chat.
And those that have background noise might want to mute themselves.
Hi, I'll go. Hi, Susanna. I'm Susanna. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
I never found another Susanna, so this is exciting in itself. We are in a really major time of flux right now. I have a hard time planning for 3 weeks ahead, let alone anything else. Is this just a good time to accept the gift of time and think about, like, let's use this as planning time? I'm about to, I think, go on unemployment, and I'm seeing that as my sort of corpus. I'm moving in with my parents. I'm in my mid-40s. So I'm doing everything I can to kind of ramp down. Is this just the time to, like, breathe, wait, and watch?
Yeah, so that is such a great question, Susanna. Here's what I think. One is, it's a great time. So if you don't have a business, it's a great time to do this work, to prep and see if you can find the gap, find that proof, and create a business model that you can launch out into the world when things stabilize. If you already have a business, now is not a time to go silent. Now is a time to actually stand out and amplify your voice and be of service in this, I hate the word new normal, but in this time of business unusual, because people still need you. So Susanna, I think it's a great time to be working on your business right now. Anyone else with a takeaway or a question? What's the number one insight that you're taking away with you today so far? And I'm happy to go over the pricing and packaging. I have more to share with you, but I just wanted to get a sense of, is there something to chat? How you find the proof. That's great. Yay. So that's great. Anyone else before we continue? All right, we'll have some more time for Q&A later. Susanna, would you kindly mute everyone again?
Done.
I'm
That'd be
muted.
okay.
Yeah, I guess you muted me. So now it's time to get the one thing that will make all the difference. So how do you get the confidence that what you were thinking about launching will actually work? How do you pivot when we're in the middle of a pandemic? And how do you prepare yourself for massive momentum once this is over? So if you have already launched your business, how do you grow beyond where you are? The principles and path are exactly the same whether you want to grow your business or launch your business. And so I think the thing to ask yourself right now is, how committed are you to making this vision that you have for your business a reality? So I'd love to hear from people in chat on a scale of 1 to 10, where, 1 is, I'm really not sure that I have what it takes, or I'm not really sure I'm willing to dive in to test this idea yet, to 10, which is like, yeah, what am I waiting for? I was ready yesterday to jump in and grow a profitable and sustainable business. So type in chat, where are you on this continuum, where 1 is nowhere near ready and 10 is like, show me the way. I am ready to take action now and do what it takes to have a profitable, sustainable business. And by the way, a lifestyle business is great. Hey, Shireen, great to see you here. A lifestyle business is great. It doesn't have to be a multiple 7-figure business idea. If you are wanting to replace your corporate paycheck, if you're wanting to create a lifestyle that you love, then that's perfectly reasonable. That's perfectly okay. So can you see the possibility that if I've done anything for you here, I want you to walk away with possibility? Do you know what self-confidence feels like? So before you learn to question every move that you made, you can feel assured that you have laid this step-by-step path in identifying the gap, finding proof, and carving out your unique value prop with your system, your framework, or your methodology. When you do that, you will naturally have the right words that resonate with your ideal clients and that attract them to your offers. And I want you to see what I see, because I see so much potential in this world right now. I am working with clients. One of my clients is an expert in creating digital communities. I mean, what does the world need right now? We're trying to bring people together in new ways, leveraging technology and making that technology effective at people working together. So we need that. Another one of my clients is an expert at bringing organizational efficiency in the supply chain and talent pipelines in healthcare institutions. I mean, we really desperately need that right now as well. Another client is a consultant who's creating more, how do I phrase this? Taking costs out of operations so that companies can retain more of the employees that they have and still fund most of their most important initiatives. I also work with health coaches and life coaches and other types of consultants. But I want you to see what I see, that to step outside of yourself for a minute and reflect on what's possible for you if you launch a business in the right way, because it's important not to skip these essential steps. And I hope I've made it clear that I see a lot of people drinking the Kool-Aid and, taking the course of how to get 10,000 Instagram followers or how to be $1 million consultant. And what these programs do is they really skip the business fundamentals. So I believe I am a market of one. I don't know a lot of people out there who are teaching you the basic fundamentals for launching products in the marketplace today. And if fear is holding you back, if all of those of you who were typing in 55444 about your commitment, is it fear? Is it fear that's holding you back? And asking yourself, how much longer are you willing to tolerate this current situation? And what is it costing you to stay where you are? Because that's the most powerful question that you can journal about and see clearly if it's fear that's holding you back. Because you, my friend, have limitless potential to be, do, and have everything you want to be. But first, you need to see that successful entrepreneur, do what it takes to succeed, and then confidence comes from doing things that you don't know how to do yet. And then once you do them once, you get the confidence to do them again and again and again. And although you have limitless potential, time is finite. So wherever you are on this journey, if you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, there's limitless potential, but there also is a limited amount of runway ahead. So you've been so engaged with this training that I want to give those of you who are motivated to take this further an opportunity to do that. So if you have ahas and insights, post your biggest takeaway in the chat, because it takes courage to launch a new business. And by now, you should be seeing clearly what a success path looks like for you. And if you have already experienced a shift in your thinking, I promised at the beginning of the session to give you an opportunity to take that further. And I talked with Susanna and Sonal, and I said, let me give the Hello Guru crowd an opportunity to get some one-on-one support to take your business idea and have a one-on-one conversation with me. And here is where we're going to talk about, where are you strong? Where have you already laid a solid foundation? What's missing? Are you filling the right gap? Do you have proof? And what would a step-by-step path look like to you? So I will be selecting 3 people from this lovely crowd of about 28 people on the line right now who complete the assessment, thenewbizquiz.com. And if you qualify, I will send you a link to schedule an appointment on my calendar. And this is where you and I and Susanna, maybe you can type newbizquiz.com in the chat so that they can just click through on that link. And I have a new mouse that is giving me a hard time here. So this is where you'll get clarity about the gap in your market. You'll understand what it would take for you to find proof that your big idea will work and replacing that corporate paycheck that you left behind. And you'll get some direction on how to develop your offers and price your services. Because what I've learned in the last 8 years is there's this opportunity to impact a greater change in the world, doing something that you're passionate about that solves a need with people that they really have. You can be well paid for it. It is possible to replace that corporate paycheck and grow beyond it. There's no glass ceiling when it comes to being your own CEO. And it enables you to have more freedom and flexibility with how you spend your time. So I asked a bunch of entrepreneurs before I did this training today, what would you share to a group of people who are curious about becoming business owners? And this is what they had to say. They said, I would have taken the leap sooner. It's not as hard as I was making it out to be. And that they would have tested the market earlier to find proof. Because when you test the market early and you find proof, it enables you to pivot in a shorter period of time, which saves you a lot of heartache, a lot of hits to your self-confidence, and certainly saves you a lot of money. And to be confident in what you're offering is the most important thing, because if you're not confident in what you're offering, it will be super hard for people you're pitching your services to be confident in what you're doing. So let me just pause there because we are at the top of the hour and I don't know that we could go further into pricing and packaging. Maybe we should share that for another time, Susanna.
Yes, definitely. Well, Deb, this has been such a great seminar. Everyone, we really want to thank you so much for your time. I know it's noon and we do plan to do other events. And if you would like to get in touch with Deb, I think all of you have my personal email, Susanna@hellocareerguru.com. I'm happy to help in any possible way. And to Shireen and many others, again, I apologize for the Zoom snafu, but managing Zoom when you have kids at home and multiple things going, we're just all doing the best we can. But let us know how we at Hello Career Guru can serve you. So thank you so much, everybody.